Welcome to Inspired Conversations, Living the Legacy with Legends. My name is Onkarabile Wisdom Mokoto, and I am your host. In the world of confusion, violence, corruption, and political crisis, a wisdom that needs to navigate this crisis is needed. Today on my show, I have Dr. Michael Gwanda, who believes that there are brand new principles that can bring solutions for such crises. And he's here to share more about such principles. Doctor,
thank you.
Thank you so much for coming, and you're welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me today, and thank you for the invitation. I appreciate it.
You're welcome, sir. You know, your story is so inspiring, you know, where you come from until this far.
Yes.
But before we speak about your story, let's just know who is Dr. Michael Gwanda.
Well, I'm just a very ordinary person, born and brewed as an African, and I managed to change my life by myself through God's grace. And so far, I am the director of Johannesburg Polytech Institute, a senior pastor of Christian Bible Church, a man married to one wife and 2 children, not 3 wives. And I do also do a lot of writing. I'm an author. I'm looking to get almost 27 books coming soon. And I do speak to young people. I motivate them, encourage them. And I talk to nearly everybody else. You know, a marriage counselor, dealing with the relationships issues and all those things. So basically, I love people. I want to help people. I want to see them doing something different more than me.
Well, that's great. And I mean, you're also in business.
Yes, I'm a business consultant. I'm a businessman as well.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, and I mean, saying that you have managed to change your life takes me back to what I've said earlier,
yes,
that,
yes,
you know, your story is very inspiring. You know, someone will see you today as a businessman, you know, as a marriage counselor, awarded many certificates, yes, you know, but not knowing where you come from. Can you just a little bit tell us more about, you know, how did you change your life?
It's very true. You know, people, when they see you, perhaps, you know, God put you at another place, they think maybe it's just an overnight thing. And when I tell people at some point I slept under the bridge, people, they don't believe that. But what I have noted, if you learn the principles of life and you submit to them with a passion, with a dream, with a vision, with a lot of discipline, you will definitely, as long as you've got a vision, you know what you want in life, you will get. Nothing is impossible. Most of us, we are limited by either our background, or I'm black, or because of so many reasons, or my dad has left me, or I don't have this and that. I think it's not really the issue. The issue is, do you have the passion for something? In other words, you need to know why were you born, your purpose. You need to understand what do you want to live on this planet Earth. You need really to know that you were born for something. Nobody was born for nothing. Yeah. All of us, there is something that each one of us were born to do. Find it. Once you find your purpose in life, you'll definitely accomplish whatever you want to do.
But doctor, tell us, I mean, how did you find your purpose under the bridge? Tell us a little bit about the bridge before we speak about a lot of things. How did it came that you went to sleep under the bridge?
First of all, I grew up in a church. When I came to this big city, Johannesburg, well, early before I think before 1994, for example, things were not all right. You know, in Joburg, nobody really likes you. Everybody loves themselves. And if you don't have anyone, no money, nobody will help you, even now. So I had a good friend, and they chucked me out. You know, I had to find myself a place. So what I did, therefore, putting up the plans, I knew I have a plan. I knew I have to accomplish something, because I'm a teacher by profession anyway. I had all the degrees, but I couldn't get a job at that time. So I thought to myself, well, if I am finding a challenge to get a job, let me find a way to make myself a job. This is how the whole issue of, after sleeping under the bridge, I could see life is very difficult. I have to do something here to make sure that next time when I really move out of this, I should not go back there again. So this is how the whole dream and the vision started.
So where did it start? Like, did you get a job from before you left the bridge, or what happened? I just want to know.
On the bridge, well, it was, well, early, you know, as a young person, you know, I was in my teenager age that time. So, you know, I used to take a risk for myself, you know. Moving to a big city without anyone whom you know, it was a high risk for me. But I knew that God has actually brought me to this city to do something or to change my life and other people's lives. So, irregardless of the problem I encountered that time, I did not throw my hands and said, well, I'm going back home, or I just, you know, leave everything. No, but I keep on persisting. Of course, I got a job. Of course, things that, you know, moving on. But in life, there's some time, you know, you go down. Life is ups and downs. Yeah. Things won't be just like that. So God put you into some situation for you to learn. So when you are down, it's a position of learning. And I think I've learned to humble myself, to say life is not what you see. But when God put you in the pit or under the bridge, you are learning something else. That's why when I see young people or somebody who's struggling, I always remember, let me help this guy. I know. If someone comes to me and says, I don't have a place to say, I understand it because I've got both lives. Yeah. So
Doctor, because you grew up in a church, as you have said, during your time sleeping under the bridge,
yes.
What did you think about God? Did you think maybe God is not there, or what did you think about that?
Well, the issue of thinking God is not there is not only under the bridge. I started questioning God several years ago when I was growing up. Because I grew up in a very poor scenario whereby our neighbors, they were much better than us. In our community, we were the last people, you know, the poor of the poorest. And my mother died when I was 10 years old. My dad was something else. But I begin to ask God to say, if this book, the Bible, has something to meet, why are we so poor? Why things they are not okay? Why? You know, I begin to ask God several times. So through the scriptures, through reading, God revealed to me something else. Ephesians chapter 3, whereby I got the scripture and read and find out that nothing is impossible with God. Then from there, I begin to believe God. I did not really question when I was sleeping under the bridge. I knew it's God's will. In fact, I could take the very nice examples of the people in the Bible. And I tell you what, the moment I got even accommodation, I slept the first time. The second time, I did not sleep under the bridge. It was just one day. Because I went for all-night prayer. From there, I got my answer. Then I got accommodation. You get the point. So it was not like I was sleeping there every day. It was once. And after that, I joined a group who were praying all the night. So I did pray and said, Lord, if you exist, take me out of this situation. And he did.
So now when you look back and look at now, where you are now, what do you say about God, the role of God in that situation?
This time around, I just want to say, no, I have no words to thank him. I have no words. To me, God has done a great thing. I have traveled around the world. I have stayed in best places in the world. And I have fly in either first class, business class. I've stayed in beautiful houses. I've seen God's grace. All what I can say, when you stick around and you believe God, nothing is impossible. All things that you believe in, it will come to pass. God is faithful. Men can lie, but if you believe in God, he will never forsake these righteous people. So this is my take. When I have any situation, whether it's good or bad, I thank him. Even with what I have now, I don't do things, look, as a businessman, my business, I run them according to, you know, biblical principles. I believe God. People, they're surprised. How do you do things? Because I pray every day before I make a decision. I always do things in line with God. I'm sure that's where I'm also getting my inspiration, because I always tell him, listen, God, without you, I'm nothing. So lead me. surely he will lead you, even in a tough situation. When I go on my knees for some time, and when I come up there, the solution has been found.
You know, in the same note, as you speak about the principles that you are using, I mean, you have written a book,
yes.
The Brand New World Principles.
Yes. Yes.
You know, very big book.
Very big book, yes. Yeah.
You know, a very powerful book that speaks about, you know, the world that we are living in today.
Right.
You know, is full of corruption, crime, political crisis, you know, disease, and a lot of things. And you believe that, you know, these principles can bring solutions. You know, how did it come? Let's just start. I mean, what inspired you actually to write this book?
What inspired me to write the Brand New World Principles, is actually to bring in the principles of life. I have noted one thing, that for you to succeed in life, it's not accident. There is no miracle in life to succeed. And many people, particularly the Western world, they did not give the third world the true principles, rules, and foundation and laws of life. So I've discovered that for you to succeed, you see, life works on principles. Nothing on earth works without its laws. So the moment you get a principle of a thing, success is automatic. So I wrote this book particularly to the third world people. I'm sure you heard the story of the first world people, second world people, third world people. Now the word world, actually, according to its Greek, it's actually cosmos, or cosmology, if you may. It means the systems that governs or run the whole world. Now, there are systems in the first world that are not actually given to the third world. In fact, the third world are given the junk systems. For example, in our education, if you have an education, for example, that does not make you build up your own razor blade, your own pin, even a thread that you use to sew in, and you have the resources around you and you can't use them, and you claim to be educated, then the whole system there's something wrong. Because in life, all things function according to the principles. So I wrote this book to remind my own people, to say if we are going to change our countries in Africa, you see, when we speak of third world countries, Africa is included, Caribbeans, all those countries that did not enjoy the Industrial Revolution, who were left out and they were subjugated into slavery. So they did not have the opportunity to become themselves, but they were actually converted into slavery. Now they call those individuals third world people. This is the reason why we in Africa, we are the poor of the poorest. Yet Africa is the most richest planet on earth. Yet we are the poorest of them all. What is the problem? Somewhere, somehow, the principle of life that God gave us, we were actually, it was diverted from us. Why I'm insisting on that? There is a way that you have to drive a car, right? You need to learn the principle of driving a car. This light and this camera, there is always a way how to use it properly. So everything works on the principle. So I wrote this book to say, if we are to get a proper foundation, we need proper principles if we have to make life easy for us.
So, but Doctor, for example, you spoke about the education system, which is one of the challenges, in our country, especially in South Africa.
Yes.
How do you go back, to instill the right principles, especially in the education system?
The biggest problem we have in Africa, there are two problems: leadership and education. The education system is a third world type of education we have. It will make you a better slave.
Yes.
It doesn't make you a man who come up with something. You see, you can have PhD with our system now. Of course, it's just an education. So I always tell people, the word education, it does not mean educee. It doesn't mean to take knowledge into your brain. That's not education. Education is to induce, to bring out your creativity, to bring out your innovations, to bring out your gift, to bring out your talents. That's the true education. There were no universities when the people started creating cars.
I love that one.
There were no universities. Yeah. All things you see here, someone has to bring it up.
Very true. Very true.
There was no education. So we were not given that opportunity. In fact, I always tell people schools are killing our children.
Doctor, you remind me, when we were at school, when you speak about talent, we had these talents called extramurals. It was, if you go to play soccer, or they will call it extramurals. In other words, they were not really part of the education system.
Right.
This type of education system that does not encourage talents, were not actually. It was the one that was actually promoted rather than this one of taking out your creativity.
Right. Yes. That's why I'm saying schools are killing creativity. The most important creators, or the young, children, you see from the age 1 to 5, it's a very important age in the education system. If we allow kids to come up with another world of creativity, they can come up with something that was never done before. But now the point is, we are being put in something, and the whole creativity is being, depressed, and we are not thinking for ourselves. Yet, when God created Adam, for example, he did not give him a chair. Or a table, for example. He wants him to think using the imaginative God gave him, to take a table from the tree. Yeah. To get the point. There were no cell phones. There were no aeroplanes. Nothing existed when a man was created. All what you see is the result of ideas and creativities.
True, very true.
You see, I want to deny to those people who say Africa is poor. That's not true. Africa is still rich than anyone else think. There are still more gold and mineral underground and oil. What we need to do is to get young people who are creativity to find out how can we do that.
But doctor, I'm still asking this question. How are we gonna instill this type of principles, which are true principles, which are God-given principles?
That's right.
For example, in our education system, whereby what you are saying now, they can maybe the leadership, as you have said, the leadership can see it in that way that we are talking about now. What can we do? Must we go to schools?
What we need to do. First of all, I want to challenge all the people. Check China, check the Japanese. How did they come out? They were colonized. Check India, for example. Now they're even taking their own what do you call this? Their own rocket to the moon. India, they were under oppression, and the Chinese, they were under oppression, but now they are becoming one of the greatest economy of the world. Japan, the powerful communicator, in terms of communication. How did they do that? What they did is, after the First World, after they were colonized and they were free, they had to throw all the junk that doesn't work for them and restart their own system. Yes. It is what you create that will work for you. We wait for things to come from somewhere else and expect to work for us. The education system failed in the Western countries. How can it work to you? It won't. So what I'm saying is, 25 years down the line in South Africa, we are still battling, trying the OBE, trying the ANA, trying all this rubbish. Why are we wasting our time? We need to bring something that builds us as African people. Why don't we find our own education system that works for us?
Very true.
Because what works for Western countries or India, whatever, it may not work for you.
And the problem that I have, doctor, myself, is I was talking to one friend of mine, and I said, it's so painful that in this life today, because of the system that has been introduced, you are classified uneducated if you did not go to school that the Europeans or the Western have introduced, you are classified as uneducated and unimportant, you understand?
Yeah.
Whereas someone who is from school, from university, is the one who is regarded as someone who is educated, who is important, you know. Whereas that system is failing.
That system is failing, and it has been failed. You cannot say, I've got a degree from Harvard University, I'm educated an engineer. You are learning someone's thoughts,
exactly,
someone's ideas.
Exactly.
That is a manual of someone who invented that, and you take a degree in someone's thought.
Yes.
You are actually you are an educated fool. That's what I can say. Because you did not bring you. Of course, you got a degree from someone else, from these best universities. In fact, education is to really bring what you know and leave something for other people. I'll tell you one thing. The most educated people are those who left things to other people. For example, Mr. Toyota, he might not have a degree or whatever, but he left a car to us. Ford.
Yeah.
You know those people. You might find out they didn't have degrees. You know, you can talk about this guy for the Microsoft, or what's the name of this one? Bill Gates.
Yes.
That guy is a dropout. But he refused all the junk, and he started what he thinks is the best. And today the whole world is under Microsoft through Bill Gates. Yeah. Of course, this boy Zuckerberg, you know, all these guys.
Yeah.
These people who refuse the system and say, listen, I want things that I can do and leave to other people. Then you are educated. So we don't have that kind of thing in Africa. We are always taking the junk that has been left, and when we get those junk, and we woke up and said, well, I've got degrees, I'm well educated. Look, I'm not impressed whether you are from America, wherever, with your degree, Harvard University, as they call it. If you cannot give a contribution to your continent, to your country, your education is useless. If you cannot help our children who are struggling here, if your education is not contributing to help us get our gold and diamonds and utilize this land God has given us, then your education is not really...
Talking about land, Doctor,
yeah.
In your book, you also speak about the importance of Africans producing
Yes.
our own agriculture, you know,
Yes.
taking agriculture seriously. And when you look, even in education system,
Yes.
you know, we thought in the olden days that someone who is in agriculture is not educated. You know, we are thinking that when we talk about education, we talk about someone who's done engineering, who's done, you know, who's a scientist, who's a doctor, you know, who's a nurse. That's person who said this thing of agriculture, we never really take it serious. That is something that, but in your book you speak about the importance of agriculture.
In my book, I said the most poorest person on earth, if you want to find people who are the poorest of them all, is a man without a land. That's why the Western kingdoms, when they fight, when they move in to possess the land, to take over lands, they don't just take over people, they take over land. Because God hides almost everything underground. And when a man was created, Adam for example, he was not given to have dominion or to control air. He was given to control land, animals, vegetations, and you know, fish and all those things. So if you want to find out who's the poorest person on earth, any man who does not own a piece of land, you are the poorest man on earth. And
it's so amazing, Doctor, that when you look back, you know, where Africans come from,
yes,
you realize that what you are saying now about taking care of cattle, you know,
yes,
it's actually who we are as Africans.
That's right.
But it was actually taken away from us.
That's right. So we need to be very careful. This is the reason why land, it's a hot issue, because gold is underground. It's not on the street. You need to understand oil is underground. It has to be under the land. Diamonds and all the minerals, they are underground. So he who owns the land owns the mineral. So if you want to be rich, don't go up, go down. I'll repeat that one. If you want to be the richest man on earth, don't go up, go down. When you go down, agriculture, diamonds and gold, this is where God has hidden the riches. So the issue of land, it's a very important thing, and people need to be taught how to use the land. So you say to me, people, they said, when you are when you go to university, you've got degrees, you are well educated. If you are a farmer, you are a useless person. That is a very wrong perception. In fact, what we must fight, all of us, to get is the land. And where we should really put our energy and power, it must be in the agriculture. Because if we don't do that, we'll perish. The government must take a serious step to educate young black people. Farming is very important. To educate even people in general that land, don't play with it. You can play with anything else but not land. Land is very, very important. If we don't get education out of that, we always think, well, a degree as an engineer is very important, but it's not true. I rather get a land without a degree. I'll be very happy, because I will be the richest person when I utilize the land.
Doctor, I just want to know, as we finish our conversation, do you perhaps challenge our education system now, like the leadership, if I can say, by the knowledge that you have now?
Right.
And if not, what is the way forward now, to bring this brand new principles, so that one day we want to follow those principles. We want our children. We are still young. I'm still young.
Yes.
I want my children, to grow up with these principles, not the principles that were instilled by someone else somewhere that I don't know.
Right.
Yes. What are we gonna? What is the way forward from here?
The way forward is simple. If you appoint a minister or a president, these individuals, they go as far as they are educated. Whether you are a minister of education, you go as far as you have acquired your knowledge. This book I gave to the premier. I was with the premier one day. I gave him the book. I don't know whether I read it. I was the MEC. I gave him the book. I don't know whether I read it. The Education Director General, Mr. Mweli, I gave him the book. I don't know whether they read it. But the whole education system is not really working for us. As long as we have the same education system, South Africa will remain controlled by the same people who were controlling it before, because the education system is not working. So what is needed now is to change the whole system, not from top, foundation. I had a friend of mine, he's a Chinese person. She said to me, I will never allow my children to learn in South Africa. I said, what's your problem? I said, she will only come back when she finishes high school. Because in China, the foundation phase, it's very important for us. It makes us to be champions. Because wherever we go, we don't line for a job. We look for opportunities. We create our own jobs. So it is the type of the education they got when they are still young. They allow the children to explore, to have a lot of ideas, innovation and creativity, and to be self-reliant. A China person, you believe he's a job himself. When he come up here, there's a war, he looks at the opportunity and gets it. Yet most of us, we don't know. We are waiting to be employed.
Yes.
Yet in South Africa, we have got plenty of opportunities. The problem is the type of education we are getting is not getting us there. That's the problem.
Your last words, Doctor, two things. Number one, I will ask you to encourage someone, who's thinking that they can never make it because of their situation.
Right.
Looking at where you come from.
Right.
And number two, your last words to Africans.
Yes.
Through the principles that we believe that can bring solution. What can you say?
Yes, my last words to all those who are watching, particularly young people, as we celebrate the month of June. I want you to believe in yourself. I want you to believe in God. Whatever dream you have, no matter how big it is, if you believe and you start working on it, you will succeed. First of all, if you are going to succeed, you need to prioritize. Remember what I said before, success is not an accident. If you follow up the proper principles of success, you will succeed. First of all, to young people, you need to have your vision. You need to understand who you are, purpose, vision, priority, and know exactly what do you want in life. Not everybody that hang around with you is going to your destiny. There are some people who are no longer good friends for you or who are not taking you to your destiny. You better clean them up, but take up the passion. People, they don't really buy you as a person. They buy your passion. Your passion is very important. Your dream and your vision is extremely important. So once you put whatever you put, you will succeed. I did it and you can do it. You just have to get a vision and you are going to do it. And lastly, this book, it's a guidebook. You don't read everything at the same time. You go to a particular chapter or topic, you get the principles. For example, if you want to be a business person, here are the business principles I use that make me succeed where I am today. If you are looking forward to have a marriage, this book gives you the principle of marriage. Many people are divorcing today because they don't understand the principle of marriage. So this is very important. So there's plenty of things you can read and take from this book, and you need to understand the principles. Principles are more important. They make our life easy. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. And where can people get a hold of you if maybe they want to buy your book or just to get this type of knowledge?
If you want the book, it's on number 95, the Bridge Bookshop. Number 95, Commissioner, not very far from here. You can also go to Amazon.com, where you can see the book. You can go to audioshelf.co.za. The book is there on audio. If you are lazy to read, you can listen to it. You can also go to number 29 Cement Road in Joranfontein. There is also a bookshop there. You can get the book. Or you can contact me at gwandam100@gmail.com. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Doctor, for such type of knowledge. You know, we really need this type of knowledge.
Definitely.
You know, as young people, as Africans as a whole, we really need this kind of, you know, and my dream, you know, or the cry of my heart, especially about education system, is that we need to challenge it, you know, and bring this type of knowledge so that one day we want to be ruled, we want to be controlled by such principles, you know. So it's the cry of my heart. That is why I kept on asking you, what do we do? What must we do? Because, I mean, I'm one of the people who have discovered that this education system is failing, you know. So really, but time is not on our side. I believe God will give us another time, you know, to have another chat about this, because it's a very important topic.
It is.
So thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me. God bless you. Thank you for your time as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching Inspired Conversations, Living the Legacy with Legends. My name is Gwanda, and I'm saying to you, let's meet next time, same place on Global Conference TV. The journey continues.